Copyright is intended to allow creators to claim exclusive access to monetize their work. After all, it would suck if the creators of Mario, Game of Thrones, or SpongeBob weren't able to create their works because they wouldn't be able to make a living off of them. Copyright is supposed to allow people to make cool things and profit off of them. However, copyright in the digital age struggles to keep up with how we share media. Technically, all memes are illegal, and that's obviously a problem. Let's talk. Memes and other content rely on copyright exceptions to exist. One of these is called fair use. It is one of the most common defenses in copyright cases. Fair use is meant to allow for the creation of material that utilizes other material to commentate or otherwise transform it to produce a new work with new meaning. An easy example of this is with news reporting. News sources can take material to report on because they utilize the work to report and commentate on it, thus transforming it into news media. This might sound simple enough, but in reality, fair use rulings are highly subjective. In fact, the only way you can definitively find out if something is fair use is by having a court decide. According to the Stanford University libraries, there are 5 factors in determining fair use cases. See anything odd here? Take a look at this last clause. Are you good or bad? Remember folks, this is a legal setting. You can see where people get confused here, but in reality, this actually protects creators. It allows courts to more easily take the nature of the case into mind, which is important in an age where cases are constantly evolving by the day. An important development in copyright law is safe harbor. Without safe harbor, content sharing sites are liable for the copyright infringements of their users. Sites like Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and even Pinterest will be hit with all manner of lawsuits for whatever people post on those sites. With Safe Harbor, they are protected from this if they implement the system to deal with copyright material when it is found. One way YouTube complies with Safe Harbor is with a claim system, where copyright owners can put a claim on videos that contain copyrighted material they own. In theory, this makes sense. It provides a manual way for copyright owners to protect their material, but in practice, the way it was implemented is hugely skewed towards the claimants. Recently, music artist The Fat Rat's original song, The Calling, on his own YouTube channel was claimed. The money immediately stopped going to him and went to the claimant, a no-name channel with zero backing to its claims. When he tried to dispute the claim, all disputes were left up to the claimant, and so obviously the claimant denied it. The issue was resolved after huge media buzz, but it exemplifies the issue of bad copyright management. Up until now, all these laws I've spoken of are laws in the United States. They don't apply to other countries like the EU. The EU has its own way of dealing with copyright. In their case, it's called permitted use instead of fair use. But the main thing going on with the EU right now is a monstrosity called Article 13. Here's how it works. Let's say you have a great meme about a college kid going, "Mr. Professor, I don't feel so good," while holding a final in their hand. Great, quality humor. 6.9 out of 10 would fail again. With Article 13, however, your meme gets snapped out of existence. Hold on, what? Yeah? Wait. Oh, you're right. Oh, never mind. Yeah, with Article 13, I can't use a Thanos reference either, so, yeah, never mind. It just kind of, like, gets annihilated, so. Let's move on. You can see the issue here. All these little tidbits from movies and videos and other TV, they're important to our culture and how we interact with each other. They create humor, they create social bonding, and most importantly, for the media companies, they create free marketing. And who doesn't love free stuff? Especially if it's usually as expensive as marketing usually is. Let me get something out of the way first before I go further. If you don't live in the EU, then this might seem a little irrelevant to you. After all, you won't get affected by the legislation of a different group of countries, right? Wrong. Article 13 will affect all content because the internet is universal. Content we create in the US will become restricted in the EU, while content in the EU will be restricted to mainly stuff created by big corporations, because the big corporations are the only ones they can trust to not use copyright material because they can't infringe on their own copyrights. Again, media sharing sites like Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and whatnot have to be responsible for the content that is created on their sites, so they need to crack down on copyright material. And what's the easiest way to do that to make sure that the EU doesn't fine you for a ton of money? Just get rid of all the material that isn't made by the copyright owners. It's simple, but at the same time, it destroys creativity. Let's go back to the whole memes are technically illegal thing. Memes are based around altering something in culture to make it a different, more funny thing. The problem with this is that it still uses the original work and oftentimes does not transform it enough to be considered a transformative work. In fact, a lot of the times, memes just take the work and paste it onto something else without modifying it, just using it as a complement to something else. Obviously, this would not fall under fair use, but here's the thing. They're technically illegal, but society agrees that they're okay. It's like how you technically can't sing the happy birthday song. Yeah, the song is actually copyrighted by Warner Chappell Publishing, and it's illegal to perform in public. But restaurants will still do it to embarrass you at the bequest of your friends. There's a certain fine line you walk when you use copyrighted material. It's this line that has corporations suing movie companies for singing happy birthday, but not you. Article 13 changes that. It gives a clear definition in EU copyright law about what you can or cannot do, and there's a very strict line on what you cannot do. Look, I'm all for making the law more clear, and people aren't encouraging rampant pirating. But the problem here is that you're stifling creativity of future generations and future works. And with something as strict as Article 13, smaller creators lose their share in the market while bigger creators just eat them all up. The problem here is no longer the monetization of copyright works, it's the enabling of creativity and fun content relevant to current pop culture to be created for everyone to enjoy. The internet is meant to be a place where free expression can reign supreme, and an abundance of amazing content can be found. Misinformed copyright legislation can jeopardize that. Keep that in mind as you go about your day. Life would be a lot less fun with scrutinizing copyright laws destroying our memes.